Hello, it's day 110 of the Liberator project, and well, actually, technically, it's not day 110, but I didn't want to make a video yesterday because I'm having such immune problems. As you can see, my immune system doesn't love me anymore. It's kicking off, and I feel really quite in pain. I feel very swollen and ugly and sore, so I didn't feel like doing a video yesterday, but I don't know why I'm reacting like this, because it's it's not that time of the 2-week cycle, but it's it's really not very good. My eyes hurt, my headache's pounding. I feel I feel like I've put on about 20 kilograms in weight. I feel so bloated and fat and ugly and hideous, and certainly not motivated enough to do a video where I video myself. But this is, I said I'd do a video pretty much every day, and it's if you want to see real life, well, unfortunately, this is part of my real life sometimes. And when I'm this bad, well, I'm not actually, I'm much worse yesterday. Actually, I'm not as bad as yesterday, but when I'm like that, people don't usually see me, because I just sort of hide in the house and just wait for it to blow over. But this is a Liberator project, so I shouldn't be self-conscious and carry on. Now, it's really weird because I'm not self-conscious at all when I'm doing acting work or when I'm on stage or performing, because it's almost like that's a persona. I can do anything with that. But this is this is real life. This is me, and I feel very self-conscious and very ugly, and it's not I'm here, I'm doing it, so that's all I can hope for at the moment. Right. Now, if you've never had any autoimmunity problems or allergies, it's a really weird sensation, because it feels to me like I am not part of my body. It feels like my body's over there and I'm separate from it. So it feels like I'm actually trapped inside this body. It's a very odd feeling. And so when people have like gender dysphoria and they say they're trapped in the wrong body, I do have some sympathy with these people. And there are some people that generally have that and would benefit from treatment. My only objection is that when so many people are suddenly jumping on the bandwagon, it just seems, people that were who genuinely, genuinely had gender dysphoria, very small percentage, and they fight for that over years and they get it sorted. Whereas nowadays, if people just suddenly decide they want to be a different gender or identify in a different way, that's that's up to them. I mean, personally, I identify as a 25-year-old, but I don't expect anyone else to respect that. So yeah, very weird sensation. I feel very detached from my body. Now that feeling has actually been enhanced because I've been not feeling great, so I actually hit the c0deine and a box of those later, and I feel quite pleasantly numb and spaced. So yes, I can see why people get addicted to drugs. They are very pleasant. But when as you saw me on video, for a few days, I've been, well, over a week now, I've been feeling terrible. Take loads of c0deine, feel it's the pain hasn't stopped and the irritation's still there. You just don't care about it. It's very weird. It's sort of, yeah, I'm in pain, but it doesn't matter anymore. So anyway, I have to say, very, very good drug. So I'd advise, if you've got aches, pains, or autoimmunity, c0deine is very good. I'm going to get a strimmer now from the gardener. Anyway, the other thing I recommend, lots of high caffeine drinks. Get c0deine, Red Bull, Relentless, or anything with enough caffeine in it, Pepsi Max. That all contributes to the feeling of euphoria and feeling better. So moving on. Well, I want to correct something. I said in the last video that I've never had a vaccine in my life. I don't know if that's true, because I certainly may have had them when I was a baby. Not that I had any say in that, but a few years ago, I in an emergency situation, I had to punch my way through a French window, and I cut my hand quite badly doing that, and I may have had a tetanus as part of the when they're operating on my hand. By the way, when I was in the hospital, My hand was anaesthetised, but I was still perfectly conscious, and I was just sat next to the surgeon as he was sewing my hand up, and I could look inside and see my tendons, and yeah, interesting. And again, not recommending it. Now, anyway, at the moment, I looked it up. It seems that a child these days has 33 vaccinations, and that's only a child. I mean, certainly, teenagers and onward, young adults will probably get even more vaccines, and then old people get flu vaccines. Now, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I mean, if people want to do that, that's absolutely fine. And I think they can, if it's medically advisable and they want to do it, they should be allowed to. That's not a problem for me. The idea of being compulsory. Codeine does have other effects than just taking the pain away. If you're enforced to take things into your own body, I think that's wrong. It's like my body, my choice, even though it doesn't feel like my body at the moment. But I think people have got the right to refuse what goes into their own body. If you haven't got sovereignty over your own body, you are such a slave. You've got no sovereignty at all, and you've got no power. So that was my objection to that. Right. Now, I remember when I was a kid, I mean, people used to sort of encourage children to get diseases. If someone got not smallpox, chicken pox, or mumps, or measles, people didn't care if you got them as a kid, because it was a few days, you got over it. It wasn't a big deal. And I think the idea was that, that sorted out, you'd made your immune system. I should have done the video before I took the codeine, but then I wasn't so happy. So it swings and roundabouts. So it strengthens the immune system, I believe, was the logic behind that. And certainly the days before vaccinations, it was like, get everything out of the way when you're as young as possible, and your system can adapt as fast as possible. And that was the sort of rationale at that time. Now, with my autoimmunity, I mean, I take monoclonal antibodies every 2 weeks, but when I was in hospital, I had IVIG treatment, and that was the white cells from 2,000 donors, deliberately mixed, so I got bits of everyone. So I got a whole plethora of strange things in my blood from that, but best not to think about it, because it probably upset me. But that's you do all these things to stay alive. You just have to sort of suck it up and just do what you think's best with talking to doctors that you trust. So anyway, if you don't get mumps, this is a sort of story I remembered. If you don't get mumps as a kid and you get it when you're older, then it causes real problems because it affects your glands quite badly. Now, when I was at uni, mumps went round, and a couple of my friends, in their late teenage years, perhaps early 20s, caught mumps, and one of them in particular was in a very bad way. He had to go down to the medical centre because it affected his testicles, basically. And I went to see him, and I won't give any names, but he's a big guy, and very strong, very fit. Respect the guy a lot, but he had the duvet or the blanket in this sort of framework to avoid touching himself because it was so apparently swollen and painful. But when he describes it to me, if he says it's painful, I believed him, but he wasn't going to show us. So we don't know, just take his word that it was bad. And certainly, the guy looked in pain, and when we're joking and like throwing a magazine on the blankets, he wasn't laughing then. So I believe that it was extremely bad. Now, on another related issue, my younger brother, many years ago, he got an infection in his scrotum, and this is the effect of codeine. It's going to be a rambling Liberator project today. The project is about selling up and buying a catamaran and sailing, but I'm being really ill. I haven't done anything positive for the project. I mean, in fact, I might do some artwork or something, but I just, I'm really not feeling motivated to do anything like sort out boxes and get covered in dust or repair things. So back to the stories about people's balls. So anyway, he got an infection in his balls, and he did show me, and what can I say? I can describe it like it was a red shiny cantaloupe. It's probably the best adjective, I suppose. I can best description I come up with for what was happening. And he was wearing exceptionally low slung baggy trousers and walking around like he'd been riding a horse. And he was, my brother's not always got a sense of humour anyway, but he had absolutely no sense of humour about it. So anyway, he shared this with me, and then he said, "You wouldn't tell anyone, would you?" I was like, "What do you take me for?" My brother, as you know, I've got no shame on video, and I'm really quite forthcoming. I mean, the fact I'm videoing myself when I look like this, and I quite happily talk about medical procedures that I've had. I'm not embarrassed by it. I can just share my life with you. But my brother's not like that at all. So anyway, he was very self-conscious about this. So anyway, it was too funny. Of course, he played bass in a band I was in. I told everyone, and I told our other friends, and then my school friends, and then people at university. And for the next few weeks, or the next couple of months, every time he came out with me for a drink and met friends, first question I'd ask him was about his balls. Going, "Do you say anything?" I may have mentioned it in passing. And so anyway, he was quite, he was not finding it funny when we were down at uni. And then my friend Lynn came up. Now, my brother's got doesn't really cope with women talking back to him. But she found it hilarious, and she walked right up and was like, "Hello, Lee, how's your balls then?" Right, this is the Liberator project, and this is c0deine, and well, you never know what you're going to get on this channel. I hope it's entertaining. And moving on. Anyway, it's not doing too bad. I've now got 70 subscribers, so I'm very pleased with that. Another 3,970, and then I can actually earn money from the channel. Though I must say thank you to anyone that's actually sponsored me. I do appreciate that, and my God, at the moment, even a few pounds are helpful to me. It's as you can gather, things have not been going very well, but struggle on, and say it's been a bit of a setback with the still owning a kit car, not getting the money for that, and say not feeling well enough to pull my finger out and get listing and doing things. But here I am, I'm talking, and I'm upright, and I will do what I can. Now, I may have thought that on Sunday's video I might have been a bit hostile or a bit snotty. I'm not feeling well, and my moods are all over the place, and I do feel a bit crabby, really. I mean, it's this is all part of the joys of my immune system and being me. So yeah, I was a bit crabby, but really, it's whoever's right or wrong in politics, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, does it really? I mean, we're two people out of millions of others, so a vote here or there, it's not going to swing an election. It doesn't really matter. And I do like hearing other people's perspectives, because if I'm wrong, show it to me, prove me, and I want to be right about everything. So if I'm wrong, that's and I've learned, there's a famous quote, isn't there? Like, you learn more from people that disagree with you than people that agree with you. Can't remember who said that, and I'm sure it was more eloquent than I said it, but the gist of it was that if you debate people and you talk about their point of view, you learn. Not only do you learn their point of view, you learn more about your own point of view, because it challenges things you take for granted, and you've got to think and get things straight in your head. So it's a good thing to do. But unfortunately, people I was talking to were quite hostile about the whole thing. They completely dismiss any even facts and evidence I can bring up, or video. They won't watch them, they won't look at the information. They're absolutely set, and if anyone challenges it, they just think they're a conspiracy nut, and it doesn't get anywhere. So when I use the phrase the Great Reset, which a lot of globalists use, it's not me making this up, absolutely deny it, and they're quite happy for us to go back into lockdown and do do whatever. But it's difficult when someone won't even look. at the fact that I don't mind if they looked and disagreed. You know, at least they've looked and shown me where they're wrong. That would be interesting. But anyway, on top of that, still going for lockdown and thinking society's, you know, being changed. They're still talking like they're going to go on holiday next year and everything's going to be back to normal. It's insane. It's like, you know, you're not going to be allowed to travel like they're talking. I mean, you're you're in lockdown. You know, either they're going to, you know, they're going to keep you in this sort of situation. You won't be allowed to travel. You know, well, go and look up the Great Reset for yourself. But you know, I don't think most people believe that things are going back to normal anytime soon. So anyway, that was clicking and grating is also part of it. I think it's sort of swelling and fluid in the joints. But anyway, then last night I'm a moderator on the Alistair Williams comedy channel. But on Sunday night, he does a religious broadcast, a sermon. Now, he is very entertaining, and, you know, there's some really nice people on the site. So, you know, I go along and chat. But now, unfortunately, some of the people in that room, well, they deny there's been a moon landing. And it's just sort of, you know, there are conspiracy nuts, I'm afraid, in that place. And it's like, well, you know, we went to the moon. The evidence is overwhelming. You know, it can be verified. If we didn't go to the moon, why are the Russians playing along? And you know, they left one of those panel. Oh God, I forgot the name of it. Particular type of mirror that reflects light from any angle. So you can actually bounce a laser off the moon. So there's definitely a mirror on there where it was left. You can do the maths to prove that. You know, we went to the moon. There's I don't see how it could be anything else, but you know, it's unfortunately a lot of them don't believe that, and I just had to get out of there when they started to deny evolution. So unfortunately, I didn't fit into that group either. So what I really like is some people that are perhaps, you know, in the middle in politics, not extremely left wing, not not conspiracy theorists. You know, normal people like me. Right, I've waffled on for a lot, and yes. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. I hope tomorrow's a bit better. Thanks a lot. Good night.